Damn it, we weren't recording.
No.
Oh, hey, we're recording now.
Yeah.
Hello, podcast.
Yeah, I was gonna see if I could try and catch Paul.
Paul!
What?
You want to be? You never answered. You want to be on our podcast?
You're so funny.
Oh, hi, Mark. See, he was on the podcast. Problem solved. By the way, thanks for joining us. Yay.
Welcome to Casual Experts.
Where we have
I'm your casual expert, Ben.
When you say it like that, it feels like you're in an amusement park and you're just
Why
like...
is nobody else introducing themselves?
I'm Jim.
Get the fuck out of here, Lucas. Well, we've got...
Okay, bye.
Hell of an open. So,
You didn't introduce yourself.
I see how it is. I'm willing to introduce you.
That's why no one knows
Jim.
who you are.
I'm gonna go sit in a corner and cry.
Lucas and Alec here. Today we are talking about bluffing
And lies.
and lies. A great topic.
We're
As
totally
a
not underprepared.
somewhat pathological liar. No, I'm kidding. Or am I? But anyways, and games that basically promote that sort of gameplay because it's fun, you know. It's fun to lie to people you know, and it's like, yeah, I know this man. Oh, he can lie through his teeth, but is he lying?
So, best place to see it, there's two types. Poker style games and logic games. In the case of logic games, which is what I prefer these kind of situations to pop up in, Secret Hitler, One Night Ultimate Werewolf, a few other examples, but those are the ones that I've gotten the most play time in. Mainly in One Night Ultimate, which is fantastic. If you've never played it, take the opportunity.
For those of you who don't know, One Night Werewolf is basically the same thing as Mafia and or Town of Salem. And or a whole bunch of other stuff. There's a few roles that change.
Yeah, and there's two forms. There's the standard, and then there's One Night Ultimate. One Night Ultimate is where they basically say all the logic has to go in one round. Everything's decided in one round, because if you play it the other way, which is the standard where you're slowly whittling, that's fun, but you get a lot of downtime for the people who get axed, and that's not always fun for them. Especially when it's a board game, you usually don't want those kind of things, because if the rounds do take a while for people to argue, it's not going to be fun. But, basic idea for that, everyone gets a roll, they get a special ability, or lack a special ability because of that, and you gotta try and bluff or lie to say, trust me, I'm this person, I took a look at their things, I know who they are, you should believe me, not them. Or, in Secret Hitler, where you can go ahead and the basic idea is you have liberals, you have fascists. You're trying to, if you're a liberal, you're trying to just get through all the liberal policies so that way everything stays the same. The fascists...
Basically, a wider explanation that you did particularly clever. You're trying to start a government. That is the baseline of the game. Is you're trying to start a government.
I feel more like it's after World War One.
Well,
they're trying to reestablish.
Okay, reestablish, maybe not start. It's starting a new government though.
Yep. It's mirroring how World War Two governmental
right before
systems
World War Two.
came
Basically Hitler.
Yep.
Hence the name
Secret Hitler. Because how it goes, you have liberals, you have fascists, and you have a secret Hitler. The goal for fascists is to construct a fascist government so that Hitler can reign. Goal as a liberal, go with the flow, make sure that no one assumes the fascist government, and that the liberals win. The way they offset this is by getting fascist laws passed, things happen that will try and help push the game towards its end goal, one way or another, and it's a good game. But again, basic idea is in order to get through those laws, you pick up cards, you try and pass them around. So there are times where you only get fascist cards to try and put down, or you get liberal and fascist, and you can try and force people to choose. But there's a person who draws the cards, they remove an option, and they pass it to a person who is voted for.
Yeah, so basically, in this new government that you're forming. You have a president. The president's like, I want this person to be my chancellor. Everyone votes on it. If the vote passes, it has to be not unanimous, but just majority vote. If it passes, everyone's like, okay. The president draws 3 cards from the policy pile, looks at them secretly, discards 1 to the discard pile, again secretly, and hands the other 2 to the chancellor. The chancellor then looks at them, picks 1, secretly discards 1, and puts the last one on the table, whether it be a fascist policy or a liberal policy.
Now, where the bluffing comes in is you can lie about what you passed them or about who you are. Now, in that case, what you try to do most is, if you're a fascist, bluff being a liberal. You want people to think you're liberal as much as possible, so that way the few times that you can set up a fascist move, people don't suspect you. Now, there are times where people are forced into fascism, which is great, because everyone starts to pinpoint on that person, even if it's not correct. So, let's say you have the fascist has 3 fascists, or let's say 2 fascists and a liberal. They're going to make someone else who they know isn't a fascist, because the fascists get to know who they are at the beginning, like most of these kind of games.
Yeah, at the beginning, the fascist gets to know who the other fascist as well as Hitler is. Hitler knows who Hitler is and not the fascist, which brings the element of you can't work together, per se, because once you reach a certain amount of fascist policies, there are certain things that are enacted by the current president, which doesn't matter what party they are, it's who's ever the current president. So at one point, someone gets to look at a party card, or the president gets to choose a person to look at their party card, so whether they're fascist or liberal. The next time, the current president gets to make a emergency president and nominate anyone at the board, because usually the turn goes clockwise. That's how the presidentship rotates. And then the next one is you get to kill someone.
The next 2 are bullets.
The next 2 are bullets.
You're trying to kill Hitler before he can come into power.
Yeah, so basically there's 6 cards that you need to win the card game as a fascist, and 5 as a liberal. If you get 6 fascist cards, great, fascists win. 5 liberal cards, great, liberals win. But it's weighted more towards the fascists. Like, there's more liberals, but the fascists have more information.
Yep.
And,
they've got a stacked deck.
Yeah, and in the deck of policies, there's exactly 5 liberal cards, and I believe 10 fascist cards? Something like that?
Something like that. Here's the thing. This deck can be free to play. I'm actually going to be making a set of tokens and all that for this game, hopefully for the house soon. If you go to their website, you can find a printable version. You can play this game without having to go out and buy it if you really want to, or if you can't find it near you.
100% free, condoned by the company.
Yep. So, if you want to, feel free to play this game. Again, like One Night Ultimate, it's a logic game. It's seriously fun. If you get the chance to play it, I recommend it. We'll link to the printable version as well as the rules, because Lord knows we're bad at sequencing things, even when we have the plan.
Anyways, back to the bluffing portion. As Alec was saying, the president is the start of the bluff, really. You have the general bluffs as, oh, I'm liberal, oh, I'm fascist, but the main information you're going to get is from these policy cards that are handed from the president to the chancellor. So only the president and the chancellor get to see these cards. The president gets to see 3 and discard 1. That's where it starts.
Yep. So they get to decide if they can set up a test. They can. So they could pass a liberal and a fascist. They could declare, hey, I think you have to do it after. I can't remember if you actually have to be quiet during the legislative process. But regardless, you get the choice of sharing information. You can say, I passed him this. So if he does something to contradict what most people want, you can call him on it. But that's where the argument and the bluffing starts. You say, bullshit, he passed me, Jack. I wasn't going to be able to do anything anyway.
Yeah, so basically, say the president has, we'll go with 2 fascist cards and 1 liberal card. So the president, if they're fascist, they can be like, as soon as they draw the cards, they can be like, "Oh man, you guys aren't gonna like this. I've drawn 3 fascist cards."
Because it's
Even-
likely.
Because it's likely, because there's a lot more fascist cards. It even gets more. It gets more and more likely the more liberal cards there are on the table. So you're like, "Oh, this sucks." That is one way. It's like you have the liberal card,
And you just get rid of it.
and you just get rid of it and no one knows. Or, you're liberal, it's like, okay, I'm gonna get rid of one of the fascist cards, I'm gonna give him a choice. You give him a choice, you're like, guys, I gave him a choice between liberal and fascist, and they lay down a fascist card. It's your word against theirs, and they're like, no, he gave me 2 fascist cards. That guy's lying.
That guy's a dick.
Yeah, don't be a dick. That's, golden rule. Don't be a dick.
I want that on a shirt.
But it comes down to your bluffing skills, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're like cracking up and stuff like that, depending on your character, like me, I am laughing a large majority of the time, even though that is my poker face. My laughing is my poker face. I can lie straight through my teeth when I'm doing that, or I can be 100% honest. People always pick on me for it, but like.
Here's what I get. I apply cold hard logic, and people refuse to believe me, and they think, oh, fuck him, he's probably a guy, because he's trying to really word his way out of this situation. And I say, no, look at the information. There's only one, there's 2 choices. And I explain all of them, and they're like, man, you're trying really hard to get out of this.
How dare you think in a logic game? How dare you?
That's how I get...
You Hitler scum.
That's how I get killed in One Night so much. We'll move on to One Night, because game rules are there. I think it's easier to understand some of those mechanics, just because it's very simple to just play the game. Shining endorsement. Love that game. One Night Ultimate Werewolf, more complicated, because there's more roles. There's fundamentally 2. There's villagers and werewolves. But the villagers, like in Town of Salem, have special abilities. They have certain things that they do. They get different information than everyone else. So you've got the Freemasons, I think is the proper term for the people who
Yes.
They get to understand that, okay, you're a Freemason, I'm a Freemason, we're going to keep this to ourselves. If anyone tries to accuse us, or if someone says, well, I know this guy's a Freemason, then they're like, hold on, I can vouch for that guy too now. So, there's the Freemasons. They get to go ahead and vouch for someone else. There's the Tanner. The Tanner is someone who wants to get offed. There's I forget if it's the Mystic.
I believe it's the Mystic.
They get to take a peek at someone's card. There's a couple of...
And as in the game rules, you'll see the cards are distributed randomly to the people, and that's how the roles are decided. So I've actually only played this game once.
Really?
And I believe I was just a normal run-of-the-mill villager, and I believe I immediately died. So
Get fucking wrecked. And they have come out with expansions as well. Oh, it's the Seer.
Seer, Mystic, it's all the same thing.
Oh god, they've added more, and it's Ultimate Daybreak. Daybreak is the expansion. Here we go.
Let's call Paul back in here. He owns this game.
The Troublemaker. Troublemaker gets to switch things. Town Drunk. Again, this is one of those games that it's probably better to leave an entire episode for explaining this. This is going to be a shorter episode just because we're talking more about the arguing itself.
Anyways, when you're trying to hang someone the day after, correct? Those who are still alive, which was not me when I played.
I think you actually shoot them, because I remember there's one guy, the hunter, who gets to take someone out if you vote for him.
Is that what I don't know. Anyways, I'll go with what I know is Town of Salem. Similar, there's different roles. People kill each other in the night. Town of Salem, comparatively to One Night Werewolf, is different because it expands multiple nights. Just like normal Werewolf expands multiple nights. There's bad guys, good guys. And what it really gets down to is you don't really know anything. Like, there's investigative roles, but you can't prove you're an investigative role. That's the thing. You can make claims, like in Town of Salem, you get certain clues. Like, if you investigate someone, they're the Godfather, or the mayor, or the bodyguard. You get one of three. You don't get their exact role if you're a townsperson. And it's like, okay, I investigated this person, they're this, or this. I think we should hang them because I think they're the Godfather. Do you have any other proof for that? No. But
That's where the other roles
start
to come in.
There's so many other roles. For example, in Town of Salem, there's a role called the Executioner, which their job is they have a target assigned to them at the start of the game, which is guaranteed a town member. And the town member doesn't want to die because they're town, but the thing is, if you're an investigator and day 2 you call out this person you investigate, it's like, I think they're mafia, there's a good chance that the other party will counter-argue you and completely bluff and be like, they're an executioner, they're just trying to kill me, I'm town.
Either way, it comes down to one thing. You gotta logic and bluff your way to not die. Because that's how it goes. Now, I wanted to loop back. Now, I said it before, I'll say it again. Logic is not the way to win these games half the time. Because people can't follow logic nearly as well as they can just trust someone's reactions.
Exactly.
So
you use logic for yourself, but you keep it internally and try and apply it in a more emotional state, for lack of a better term. Not really, I don't know if that's the best.
People trust you more if you argue than if you pull out legalese. So if you just say, fuck that guy, he was suspicious, why would he bring that up now? As opposed to, okay, so he just brought up this, but if we think about it, that doesn't make any goddamn sense. That's something only a fascist would say. Fuck him.
You're gonna get shot.
Yeah. That happens a lot.
It does. It really depends with the people you're playing with. But I have found with I'm gonna continue to go back to Town of Salem because I have more than 1,000 hours on that game, that people don't like people who think. I can confirm this. Like, I have gotten more people hung by just
being
day 2, just literally not saying anything in chat, clicking vote for a person, and everyone votes for the same person. Doesn't matter what their role is.
They need an excuse to kill someone first to get the ball rolling.
Exactly.
Because the less people there are, the easier it is for them to think in their head about what's going on.
And that itself is a bluff. It's like, they're trusting me, who said literally nothing. They have no idea what I am. They're like, he must have some information. He knows what he's doing. Let's vote for him. Oh shit, we just killed the sheriff. Whoops. But we didn't kill the deputy. It's okay.
Fuck you.
I did it quietly. It didn't register. I looked. He was a mini snap. Leave me alone.
God. But yeah. Now. This is probably where we're gonna start calling it close to the end here. Let's review what we've learned today. Because we haven't learned much.
Lie through your teeth with a smile and point at people. That's how you win.
Now, I'm gonna say it in the way that applies in general, but I started watching podcasts about people who figure out flaws in security, like physically break into buildings and then
Podcastception.
That happens a lot. That happens a lot.
Anyways, continue.
But yeah, they're talking about one golden rule for trying to be able to either get on people's good sides or social engineer the situation. Look like you belong. Have confidence in what you do. If you're confident in bad moves, it'll work out better than being sketchy when you're trying to do the right thing.
I 100% agree with that.
That is an easy way. That's where just clicking without talking. If you talk, people are going to ask you why. If you click, they're going to believe that you have a reason why.
They may still ask you why, you just don't say anything. You're like, see, good enough, good enough for me.
It is so much easier to let people just believe what they want, and it'll work itself out most of the time.
One last bluffing thing. We actually had quite a fun experience, courtesy of Paul Delane last night, using Jackbox, where we got to play a bluffing game. It It was quite entertaining. Do you remember the name of the game?
The Faker.
Was it called The Faker? Anyways, the point of the game was
Or no,
with Jackbox, you use your phones. Everyone has on their phones, their smartphones. You log into Jackbox, you put in a code, and you all get in the same game. And within this game, there was one faker, and the rest were just normal people. The normal people got...
Faking it.
Oh, Faking It was the name of it. And the normal people got instructions like, if you've ever farted, raise your hand. Stuff like that. And the faker's phone said, hey, this is a raise your hand thing, just try and fake it. So, what happened was... there's a few different ones. My favorite was the raise your hand, because I think it was the easiest to lie at.
Oh, yeah.
So...
And you can't write your dog.
The question goes out. People click, yep, I understand the question. 3, 2, 1, raise your hand or don't. And then after a few seconds...
It reveals what the
stop,
question was.
And then it reveals the question.
And then you bluff.
It's like, well, I didn't know the question before, and I didn't raise my hand, but I'm sure as hell gonna lie, like, I did.
Catch me if you can.
I got to be the first faker, which I only actually physically lied once. Well, to the questions themselves, I lied once. Not intentionally, because I didn't know.
I'll let you know. I believe you wholeheartedly. But you also only wanted to implicate Paul, which is a much easier sell.
Yeah, so basically, once you... At the end of each round, there's 3 rounds. At the end of each round, each person votes for who they think is the faker.
It has to be unanimous.
It has to be unanimous, and if it's unanimous, it reveals the person that was voted for. It's like, this is the faker or this isn't the faker. And there's no actual penalty for not guessing the faker unanimously, so that is a group strategy. It reveals one person for the next rounds that will not be the faker, but the faker does get points for every time that they are not caught. And the people who vote for the faker, say it's not unanimous, and you voted for the faker, you still get points based on you voting for the faker that round.
Yep. It all gets tallied up at the end.
But anyways, one of the questions was, raise your hand if you've ever owned Crocs. I did not raise my hand because I was the faker and I did not know.
And you said they were your mom's, didn't you?
At the time, I said, my mother owns Crocs, which is true. Everyone in my family owns Crocs. I don't want to justify why I have Crocs, but I only wore them to take care of my chickens. That is the only reason I wore my Crocs.
You don't want to cover your normal shoes.
Yeah, I don't want to cover my normal shoes and chicken shit.
I was going to be a little bit more polite and just say waste and or poop. But okay.
No, it's everywhere. It's got to be called that. Have you ever had chickens? It's literally everywhere. Have you seen those things? They eat each other, Alec. They literally eat each other. I've seen them eat each other.
First off, no, I couldn't. My neighborhood covenant did not allow farm animals.
Anyways, back to the actual story. I lied through my teeth, knowing very well that I did own Crocs, technically, and everyone believed that I did not.
I like how you still distance yourself from the Crocs.
You know, Crocs are they're at my parents' house, by the way. I don't actually have them there.
No, I don't know them. My parents own my Crocs. I mean, not my Crocs.
Exactly. But I was smiling the entire time because that is my character. I have a very, in my opinion, smiley character to any question, whether I'm nervous or not. And I get, like, if someone's looking at me, I just start smiling. It's like, stop that. I don't like you. But I was just bluffing, and everyone believed me because I said so confidently. I was like, yeah, my mom owns Crocs. But that's I think that's all I said. And everyone's just like, yeah, okay. We'll just vote for someone else. That seems fine.
Well, here's the thing. Anyone who raised a hand to owning Crocs was probably going to get voted for just because they own Crocs.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's where we're currently at in our Jackbox method.
If you own Crocs, you're getting voted for.
I don't care if it's the truth. Go to hell.
Anyways, that was our experience. Is a really fun game. I recommend that as well.
Yeah. So, we've got 3 games that are fantastic for playing that. So Jackbox, I think that was volume 3.
That was volume 3 that Faking it was
Yep.
on, I believe.
Jackbox 3, One Night Ultimate Werewolf, or any of the Werewolf style games where you're just trying to solely whittle out the enemies, and Secret Hitler, which is potentially free depending on if you have the ability to get the stuff printed.
And it's got Hitler in it.
Well,
You can be
it
Hitler.
has a dinosaur Hitler.
It is a dinosaur Hitler. It's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm not
They
gonna lie.
made a Tyrannosaurus Rex tyrant Lizard King.
You're terrible.
Says the person who made a Bob Marley fucking joke.
Anyways,
I like to say that's the end of the episode.
Yep.
Before we accidentally ramble more, because we're finally hitting our goal. So, thanks for listening to the podcast. I'm Alec.
and I'm Lucas, and that's Casual Experts.
All right.
See you next time.
Bye.